I have never quite understood what makes the world revolve around the sun, nor have I ever understood why I've been so blessed to experience some of the world's most wonderful creations. But here in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, some of the most beastly mammals have thrived among these mountains and continue to thrive through the act of conservation. I am not someone who is to brag about his accomplishments, nor do I believe that I am someone greatly more special than the next. But the mountains here have taught me some of the greatest life lessons about being humble, being grateful, and prioritizing on what is important in life. And now I have a wonderful story about the Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep that I got into contact with during the early days of 2020, and I cannot wait to share it with you. "4:30 wake-up call. The day was January 12, 2020, and the sun has yet to peek over the horizon. Our wondrous journey up the mountain was decorated with falling ice crystals and white-covered mountain peaks that disappeared into an essence of clouds beyond. The human eye cannot take in the supreme landscape art, as it is a creation much larger than life itself. The sudden sight of sheep along the river quickly turned our rolling cinema of mountain roads into a dramatic scene of organizing camera equipment and adrenaline that had us rolling in excitement and wonder. Organized along the flowing crystal, half-frozen water down below, this band of 7 sheep consisted of 2 young rams of 5 years and 3. The even younger lambs were no older than 1 year, and it was a beautiful sight like none I have ever witnessed before. Our experience was just beginning. Me and my 2 greatest of friends decided to backtrack half a mile and find a crossing to the river. Understanding that the shining sun among the cold mountain floor would cause the wind to flow towards the peak of the mountain, meaning we needed to stay above and parallel to the sheep. And this is where our adventure begins. We begin our ascent up the mountainside, staying quiet and conquering the icy wonderland that lies beneath our every step. It wasn't until we overcame the peak of the first hill that we first reached sight of the sheep. Our presence did not spook the sheep, but the hairs on my body stood straight due to the overwhelming concentration of this movie. These sheep danced with the spiderweb of rocks as they continued their concentration on the abnormal presence that us humans rendered to be. The earth stopped spinning and a wild dream was becoming reality. The family of sheep continued their treacherous climb higher and higher in elevation, and I saw this as an opportunity to get closer and more personal with these sheep. An agonizing climb up the sheer slope of 800 feet of knee-deep snow and rocks that would fall out from underneath each step. The terrain is unforgiving here. It is easy to understand why only the toughest of mammals call a place so inhospitable home. Over the millennials of Earth evolution, these beasts of the mountains have adapted to take every advantage of the landscape and the weather here. My fingers were frozen conquering the hundreds of feet of mountain below me as I reached the peak of the next cliff face. I was not quite sure what to expect. I had my camera ready and I slowly gazed my eyes over the rocks in front of me. Just like the weather around me, life froze for a second. A beautiful gathering of sheep that only stood 60 feet in front of me. I watched their manes tango with the wind and the reflection of my presence gleamed in their eyes. As soon as it began, the rams saw me as a threat and pushed the group to move on. I watched as each sheep one by one disappear over the horizon in front of me, and I sat there replaying the moment again and again in my head, trying to come to terms with the amazing experience that I just had the opportunity to witness. What I just experienced was a dream come true. Life seemed better after that moment. Life did not seem to be such a burden, and my worries of the world became memories of the past. I've become such a grateful human being, so grateful for the mountains here and so grateful for the wonderful people in my life. So grateful for the times I spent with loved ones. I learned a valuable lesson on that mountain that day. No matter how unrealistic the journey may seem, no matter how tall the obstacles may be, or no matter how hard it is storming outside, the view at the top is life-changing and something that you can never forget. The struggle that was is now in the past and a statement of your past imagination. There is nothing like beating the odds and taking a challenge head-on and conquering it. I pray that each one of you overcome the obstacle that is staring back at you, and I pray that you beat the enemies that hinder your performance, and I hope that your wildest dreams come true.